Hey there, welcome to a brand new episode of Muzikxpress. My name is Twan, and for this week's vlog I had the chance to sit down with no one else than Kurtis Mantronik to talk with him about the Mantronix classic Got to Have Your Love. Enjoy! Kurtis Mantronik is the artist name of Jamaican-born DJ-producer Kurtis Al Khalil. After he moved to New York in the USA, he discovered electronic music. In the 1980s, Kurtis became the leader of Mantronix, an influential hip-hop and electro-funk group. Some of the most well-known tracks of Mantronix are Baseline, Scream, Who Is It, Simple Simon, Take Your Time, Don't Go Messin' With My Heart, and of course their hit single Got to Have Your Love, a track he did together with singer Wondress Hutchinson. Because of the 30th anniversary of Got to Have Your Love this year, I was curious to hear the story behind this track. My first question to Kurtis was how he and Wondress got to meet each other.
Basically, I think it was the second or the third Mantronix album. I had left Sleeping Bag and went to Capitol Records, which is a major distributor. And they said they needed something that would cross over, because at the time rap still was struggling. So they said they needed something to cross over radio, something a bit more commercial. And so I remember in the studio racking my brain. I came up with the bass line. How did it go again? Yeah. So I did that, and my friend Johnny, he was going through a breakup with his girlfriend. So he was the one who wrote the lyrics. And that was coming from his heart because he was sad, he was crying. And I said, well, Johnny, here's my beat, what can you do? And he wrote the lyrics, and as he's writing, he's crying and thinking about this girl. And so he did a rough vocal. He wrote the lyrics and did a rough vocal. And then I spoke to the guys that represented me at Capitol Records, as they call the A&R person. And I said, listen, we're looking for a singer to complement this record. We've got the lyrics, we've got the music. And that's when I was first introduced to Wondress. It was a gentleman by the name of, what was his name? Kenny Ortiz, I think that's his name, yeah. And he said, I've got this girl that can really sing. She's got a really pleasant voice. So we brought her in, and I think it was 3 days after we had written the lyrics and the beat and everything, we brought it in. And she sang on the song, and it came out really good. So once we finished it, Capitol sent it over to Capitol Records in the US, sent it over to EMI Music record company in the UK, and that's how it all started, and it became a huge hit.
So can you tell us a bit more about the production process of the track?
Okay, this is going really way back now, so I've got to try to remember. The drums were done on a Emulator 3, was it? Yeah, keyboard. I'd sampled the kick, snare, and then I programmed the beat. And the Emulator 3 had a little sequencer in there, so I could put the notes in, it would replay it back. The bass sound came from, get ready for this, it was called a Yamaha V50. It was a dud keyboard. Nobody bought that thing. It was what I just was flipping through the presets one day, and I found this particular sound, and I started playing the notes, and that's how I got the bass line to Got to Have Your Love. So it was from a keyboard that was not popular at all to now then making, a hit record with, yeah. But nobody knew that's where it's from.
So were you inspired by any other tracks or artists when you made Got to Have Your Love?
Yeah, it was. I was sort of inspired by the Michael Jackson track, Annie, Are You Okay? That's where I sort of got the vibe from. Yeah, it was a simple track, but it was effective. Yeah.
Do you remember how long it took you to finish the complete track?
God, I would say about 3 weeks. Yeah, because you finish it, and then you go off onto doing other things, and then you come back and My engineer was Andy Heermans. He's a guy in New York, East Village, and he was a rock dude. And he was the mix engineer. So he used to do a lot of rock stuff. So that was his first record into sort of R&B soul. He had never done anything like that before. And I remember we did it at, it wasn't Electric Lady Studios, it was, I forgot what studio it was in New York. And we used one of the old Neve consoles. So that's what gives it that big warmth and that nice.
So what was the most difficult part in the production?
Everything was actually easy. It just came together. It was just one of those things. I didn't overcomplicate it because usually I tend to add too much stuff to the production and then it kills it. It was very simple, so there was nothing difficult about it. I just was very happy that it had the success that it had. Listen, I'm still earning royalties on that song to this day. And then it was used in an American TV show. What was it, in November? It's like, it's not What About Raymond, but one of the really big TV shows in the US. So
you just talked about the success. Did you expect that it would be this big of a hit?
I had no idea. It's probably my most successful record ever. As far as monetarily, I can tell you right now, that track has generated over $1 million. Just that one track.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
So yeah, the track made it into several charts all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
It even made it to the number 4 position of the UK singles chart.
Yeah.
There wasn't really internet at that time, so
right.
Do you remember how you found that the track was doing really well in many countries?
The UK was my main market. It wasn't so much America, but it was definitely the UK. And I remember when I was there, there's a chart that comes out weekly, and it shows you how many radio plays. You know, we're talking about 30, 40, 50,000 plays that's a small country, within the space of like a week, you know, because the chart comes out weekly every Monday. So I knew something was happening then. And just when you have a hit record, the excitement, the people around you, you know, and it also generated a lot of additional work for me, because they were flying people from the UK. I was mixing everyone from Duran Duran to Kylie Minogue to you name it. I mean, a lot of the names I don't even remember. I remember even remixing, it was Diamonds Are Forever. Shirley Bassey, which I love, absolutely love. So when I got a hold of that, the master recordings, it was unbelievable. The strings, Diamonds Are Forever. I was just, wow. It was, yeah, incredible.
So do you have any idea how many copies have been sold of the track?
Of what?
Got to have.
Oh no, I've lost track now. It doesn't really sell as much anymore because people stream it, they do whatever. But every time it gets played on the radio, that generates income. So
there's a video on YouTube where you guys performed the track at the Technics World DJ Championship back in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Were there more performances to promote the release?
Funny enough, there weren't a lot. There wasn't a lot. I mean, I did a lot of work in the UK. But I think what the problem was is that I was busy producing other people and doing other things, so I sort of neglected that. Hey, I did the record, it's finished. It has wings, it can do its own thing now. But I think, yeah, I should have done more stuff, but we didn't.
So the track is 30 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best memory you have from the release of Got to Have Your Love?
I just remember. I think I was in London at the time, walking on the street outside going somewhere to a restaurant, and I heard the first few notes from the song, dum 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 dum, and I heard the people in the bar, wherever it was, made a huge scream, and I was like, oh, that's cool, and so I knew, you know, because it's not always, a record comes on and people go, you know, but this made an impact. And a similar thing when I did Joy Sims, Come Into My Life, you know, which I think was a very big record here also. It's just, when you've got a hit, it's nice because, you know, you put a lot of stuff that I do doesn't hit. And I'm being honest, you know. You have some people like it, some people don't. But when it's a hit, it's generally a pleasing. It's like people are appreciating your work, and that's a nice feeling.
So are there any plans for a re-release or something else because of that anniversary?
To be honest with you, I can't work on that record anymore. I'm too close to it. So I've given it to some a friend over here, a Dutch guy, and to see what he could do with it. And the problem is, it's so, if you try to change it, if you try to do it different, it kind of throws off the original. I want to say it's a perfect production. So when you try to deviate from it and try to refresh it and make some, it just sounds odd. So unless someone can come up with a great idea to do it, then I'm all for it. So
yeah, besides Got to Have Your Love, you did many other tracks as well. For example, Baseline, Simple Simon, King of the Beats, Take Your Time, and you just mentioned already Joyce Sims' Come Into My Life.
Right.
So which of your own productions is the most special for you and why?
Well, for me, those records are cool, but on the other side of Mantronix, the stuff I produced, the hardcore rap stuff, was a track called Cold Getting Dumb by Just Guys. That to me, first of all, we did it in the space of about 20 minutes, and we did it live. So normally I program stuff in the drum machine and let it play, but I was doing this live, and it was just one of these things that was almost like him and I went in the studio and started jamming and something brilliant came out. What I like about that, it's not a commercial record, but what I like about that is that when I listen back to it, I'm very proud of what I've done. The beat that I made on that beat is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I haven't heard anybody come close to matching a beat like that in years. No one has done it. So I've sort of left my mark there, and I'm so proud of that record, and that's the record I like a lot. Other records like Come Into My Life, that's a little bit different, where I did the record, beautiful record. I was now in the process of leaving the record company that I had done it for, and they were kind of nasty about the whole thing. And then I was, because I had friends at the company and it was sad, and I was leaving and they were fighting me, I'm fighting them. And then the payment that they were supposed to pay me for they bounced the check. So the check wasn't honored, so I never got paid for the record. And it was a sad situation because, and I think at the start also my mother had passed away, and here's this song all over the place, and it was, yeah. So Come Into My Life, that was another one. And yeah, so those are the two songs, I think, Come Into My Life and Cold Getting Dumb. I've done tons of other ones, but yeah.
Okay, we already spoke about the remixes. So yeah, you did remixes for Kylie Minogue, the Chemical Brothers, Fatboy Slim, and you just mentioned Shirley Bassey. So which remix are you the most proud of?
I would say the Shirley Bassey, and because first for me it was an honor to even get the original recordings and to be able to manipulate them and work with them, and her voice is just beautiful. And it was also, I remember seeing that movie when I was a little boy, so that I was all about James Bond, and it was just the mystique and just having that. I think that's probably, you can see it on the internet, someone's put it up there.
So what are you working on these days?
Got new stuff coming, not a lot. I've spent a lot of time working on it's called Good Woman. I'm a Good Woman, and I'm the artist, and then there's a singer, and so you should be hearing that soon. What we're doing right now is just going through the whole promotional phase and getting that ready. But I think it's going to do something. My first record in a long time.
So you still have a lot of your old equipment, or is it mostly software?
That's all gone. That's all gone. I was part of the reason why I had that particular Mantronix sound. Nobody knew this, was that I had access to all the latest and the newest gear, and everyone knew me at Sam Ash in New York, which was a retailer that sold all the music equipment. So I'd walk in, they would say, "Kurtis, we got this in today. This just came in from the manufacturer, blah, blah, blah. Take it, pay us later, whatever. I'll take it home, and give it back, and I don't want it." So I was constantly going through. I remember I made it a point, about every Wednesday, once a week, I would go into the shop, see what new piece of gear would come in. I'd have to learn it, of course, and then, so that's what gave me the edge. I like using the Yamaha V50, which nobody bought. It was to make the bass line for Got to Have Your Love.
So you must have had like a really big studio then?
I had a big studio. I had lots of stuff in there. I was quite keen and eager to hook up things and take things apart and put things. I don't have that energy anymore. But I was always the one pushing for the complete computer integration, because I didn't want to carry all these wires and plug wires in and do it. Because every time you worked on a record, you'd have to then repatch everything and bring the presets back, do this, blah, blah, blah. And I remember having, with my first Mac, it was an Apple II FX or something, and it was a program called Vision. It was a sequencer. And then they came out with something called Studio Vision, which allowed you then to record audio, digital audio. And that thing would crash, and it would, and yeah, so I was always pushing for the integration of everything all in the box. I mean, I was probably doing that first before anybody, you know. People were still using tape machines, and yeah, so what was the question? I sort of.
If you had a big studio.
I had one, yeah. I had a few employees there. It wasn't big enough because I was doing so much work. I was utilizing my studio and then renting out another studio to finish productions. So
is there still something on your bucket list, music-wise?
No, just to make something good.
Okay, so not a particular artist you really want to work with?
Nah, I've never been that way. I normally work alone, and yeah. So we'll see in a few weeks what happens.
So in your spare time, what kind of music do you listen to then?
I listen to either classical or anything that's commercial, because I have a family now, so whatever the kids are playing in the car, you know, what was that big hit record? Lil Nas, Old Town Road. Yeah, I'm going to ride here, like my son sings that. But it keeps me in touch with what's actually happening. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome. You're welcome.
Alright, that was it, this week's vlog, my interview with Kurtis Mantronik. Kurtis, thank you very much for your time, much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, make sure to give this video a like, leave a comment in the comment section below, and make sure to subscribe. Once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye.